All right, so the 4th Annual Rougarou Classic is officially in the rearview mirror. That was the 6th competition that we have actually ran, strongman competition anyway, and it was our first one off-site. We definitely learned a lot from the experience. All in all, I am happy with the way things went. Know a couple things. I definitely gonna need more signage if we were going to continue to do these events off-site like I want to. Other than that, it's just going to be about attracting more and more people, which I have a lot of plans to make that happen, and I'm pretty sure they're going to work. So yeah, let's get to the video. But before we do that, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out a lot. And I want to thank everyone who signed up for the competition, and I especially want to thank all the volunteers. Without them, the show never would have happened the way that it did. So let's get to it. First up, we have Sherry. This was her first strongman competition. She has a CrossFit background, so she already came in very strong. She competed as a woman's novice. This is her with the 65-pound dumbbell. Technique's not the best, but because she is so strong, she's able to overcome that. That rep didn't count. She did very, very well in this event. Sherry is also currently recovering from a back injury, so the fact that she was able to hang all day with the other people in her weight class is a testament into itself. She's got a couple more reps in her. All right, so this is the point where I was trying to tell her to save some energy. I don't think she could hear me, though. Next up, we have Dylan. We had a lot of athletes from Atlas compete in this event, so there was a lot of me running back and forth. That's why you saw me come all the way from the other side of the venue in order to catch this this set from Dylan. Dylan, in my opinion, he took the MVP award for this event for the 4th Annual Rougarou Classic. Just the amount of effort he put into everything. He had a couple PRs. It was a really, really good day for Dylan. This is his first time competing in the open division as well. Next up, we have Jessica. So we went into this event not expecting her to get a rep, and we got what we expected. But that's just kind of par for the course with overhead events sometimes, especially something as awkward as circus dumbbell. So now we move on to the open men. Got Chris Miller putting that dumbbell up with these. That was 145 pounds. This is 165. This is our super heavyweights. This is Jake. Comes in pretty much every strongman Saturday to Atlas. See if he gets another rep. So this is our first time doing an event like this off-site, and if there is one thing I can say is we need some backdrops. There were several people that I knew at this event that were there for the bodybuilding portion or the powerlifting portion, and while we were all in one big area together so everybody could see everybody, both of them said, we thought strongman might have been happening over there. So that just goes to show you that a lot of people had no idea what we were doing over there other than just making a bunch of noise. Next we have Ryan. Ryan had an interesting way of going about this. He just kind of walked around the crash pads, but hey, it worked for him. Dude is very strong.
Doing good, Ryan.
Really looking forward to see just how far this guy goes. Daryl with the save, make sure he doesn't trip. And that was it. Next up, we have Brandon. Fresh new 20-year-old. Guy is crazy strong overhead. I've seen him put 365 pounds over his head.
Make Ryan work for it.
Not sure what he could put up today. So we had several guys in the super heavyweight division. Little spoiler, Atlas took the podium for the entire super heavyweights. What was amazing to see, though, was watching these guys push each other. Like, you had several guys in the running for podium, and they were all cheering each other on, trying to get them to, like, if one of them hit 5 reps and next guy needed to hit 6 to win, that dude was telling him he needs to hit 6 reps. They were trying to beat each other's time on the medley. It was really awesome to see. This is Andrew. He's a new member of Atlas. This was his first competition, and this might have been his best event. Dude is crazy good overhead. Just needs a little bit of time to build his deadlift up, and he is going to be a powerhouse. See how many more he gets. I was really worried he was going to drop it right on the concrete there.
It's okay. Keep going. One more.
Had he not taken that break, there is a very good chance that he actually would have won that event because he tied for first place with it. Next we have Mike. Mike has already signed up for Louisiana's Strongest Man. He was the first person to sign up for it. The event went live last night, and I think 11:30ish, I got the message that he had already signed up for it. Glad to see that you had such a good time at this event that you want to do our next one. Really happy to see it. Let's see who is up next. All right, next we got the deadlift. This is Sherry, deadlifting 185. Super easy. She had a lot more in the tank, but like I said, she's been dealing with a little bit of a back injury. She knew she wasn't going to beat the other ladies in her weight class, so she just wanted to get on the board. Here is Matt with the fastest 495 I have ever seen him pull. And that was his top pull of the day. He just wanted to get on the board. Very good. And then we had Jake hit the same thing. Next up, we have JB. This is 495. This is 535, I believe. Hit a super fast lockout. Very strong. And here is Jessica. This was a big PR for Jessica. This is 265. Fantastic lift for Jessica. All right, here is JB with 575. He might be the only one we have in here twice. I thought I just put everybody's top lift in this. But since we were already doing the voiceover, not going to take it out now. It's going to be a lot of extra work. 575. Next up, we have Brandon. This was 615. Remember when we met Brandon a little over a year ago? He wasn't able to pull 500 yet, and there he is with 615. Speaking of 615, here is Dylan with his 615 pull. And this might be the most hype the competition got the entire day. This was a big PR for Dylan. He was not about to put that back down. And then we have Chris Miller with the open middleweights coming in and do the same thing. Give him a few more seconds to get his straps on. So he pulled a PR in this suit, well, today, but a few weeks ago at the gym, dude started bleeding from his eyeballs. That's hard work right there. Next up, we have Brandon. This is him giving a shot at 645 pounds. This would have been a big PR for him. Just needs a little more work on it. And here comes Ryan. And he's able to get it locked out. Not really sure what pull that was. Let's see. I'm looking to see where I am on the sheet. I know that's 405 right there. And we got... And I'm just realizing the sheet that I made for the loading team, I didn't give them enough jumps. So, you know, that's my fault. I should have been better about that. If you're watching this and you were on lane 1, I'm sorry. I messed up. All right, so now we're on to Fingal Fingers. This is Andrew absolutely killing Fingal Fingers. Dude is such a big engine. I was actually worried how this event was going to do in this arena. I was worried about the sliding. I was worried about, because basically no matter how much weight you put on that thing, you're still moving it around with a 12-foot long lever. So if you tug on it hard enough, you can spin it. But the mats that we had out there, they were able to hold it in place, and everything worked out. I will say I do wish I would have gotten some either denser tires or better crash pads, because when we got to the heavier guys, we put a chain down the center of that pipe, and it was enough weight to completely compress that tire and smack into the concrete. So I was admittedly worried that we were going to bust right through the concrete. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Definitely a cool event to watch, though. Wish I would have made it a little bit heavier, but it is what it is. Jessica with that split clean. I also wish that I would have invested in some, I think, grip tape to put down on this convention center floor, because once it started getting heavy, some of these guys had issues with their shoes sliding. So I think that would have helped out a lot. Lessons learned. A lot of lessons learned today. Or today. Yes, Saturday. This day. A lot of lessons were learned on this day between the backdrops, the grip tape. We needed better sound because people couldn't hear our speaker. We will definitely be better for April. I think this is her last one. And she gets it. Next we have Mason. Men's lightweight novice. I believe this is Mason's second event. I wasn't able to catch the whole thing. He did a lot more than that. This is Grant. Grant just joined literally last weekend. He came in, put his hands on the circus dumbbell and some of the other implements for the first time, and liked us so much he went ahead and he signed up. Glad to have him on the team. Honorable mention, you got Jordan there in the back. Jordan actually helped us build these, and he really enjoyed seeing his creation in action. One thing I might do is I might make a sleeve to extend these and add weight at the end. I'm not 100% sure that's something I want to do yet, but that would make it significantly heavier for future shows. Next up, we have JB. Now we're in the men's middleweight open, and you kind of start to see a little bit of the feet sliding that I'm talking about. So this is the same pipe that the men's lightweight novice were just using, except we had a 45-pound chain link drop down the center of it. And it was loud. If people weren't paying attention to us before, they definitely were after we started doing this event. Should I have come up with a quieter solution? Maybe. Do I regret it? No. Just it is what it is. Now we know. Think he gets one more rep.
You're almost there, JB. Almost there. Get your legs in it.
And he gets it. Next up, we have Chris. So Chris is really strong, but I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised he did as well as he did in this event. Just because height plays a major role in how well Fingal's Fingers goes. The taller you are, the better leverage you have to actually get this pipe up. And Chris is not that tall of a guy. But he absolutely killed it. Really, really happy to see how well he did.
Do it again. Almost there.
He gets one more rep. Good stuff. All right, next we have Devin. So Devin drops in every once in a while. He lives in Baton Rouge. He currently trains at a Crunch Fitness, and we want to steal him to our side. Dude has a lot of raw talent, not very tapped into it, just because he doesn't touch the implements very often. If we get him some more experience with the implements, this guy'd be going to nationals next year. I guarantee it. But hey, something you got to want to do. Next, we have Mike.
Good.
Mike did very well at this event, too. So that was one thing that happened a few times, where the pillar would, the pipe, whatever you want to call it, would hit the tire and then kind of bounce off. We did say that if that happened, they had to pick it from the spot that it was there. It didn't seem to be an issue, though. It happened once in a blue moon, and people just rolled with it. Yeah, I'm definitely wishing I would have made this event a little bit heavier. But that's kind of the way it goes with strongman sometimes. All right, I wasn't able to catch all of Matt's event, but this was his event to win. He's the tallest guy. He was the tallest guy in his weight class, so he has the most mechanical advantage over it. And the dude moves very well. Next we have Jake. Moving just a little slower. Got time for a couple more at that pace. If you look in the background, you see our setup. We definitely needed more signage. People had no idea what we were actually doing over there. But as a result, we have a lot of shirts over at the Atlas Strength Shop right now for people to purchase. He has time for one more. No, he doesn't get it. Next, we have Dylan.
Got this, Dylan.
Dylan did very well at this event. I think he gets one more rep. And he gets it. And next up we have Brandon. So I believe at this point in the competition, Brandon and Ryan were actually tied for first place. I know they were going into the 5th event for sure.
Good job.
I know this video is long, so if y'all are still watching our athletes kick ass, I really appreciate y'all sticking it out. It really does mean a lot to me that people are actually watching our stuff. They're getting long. These competition videos are admittedly getting longer, and it's just because we have more and more athletes signing up for these shows all the time. So it's really a testament just how much we've grown as a community, and I couldn't be happier about it. On the bright side, though, we're more than halfway done. Ryan absolutely kicking ass at this event. I think he was in first place at this point, but because Brandon's so much faster than him, that's what led them to being tied. Brandon is fast. All right. Next up, we have the carry medley. This was a 100-pound sandbag into a 110-pound Husafel into a 110-pound log.
Hey, Mr. Preston, you're
And this was the fastest Jessica had ever done this event. Couldn't be happier with how she did.
moving quick. One more. You got time. One foot in front of the other. Quick feet, quick feet, quick feet, quick feet.
The keg is definitely everybody's Achilles heel in this one. That was the fastest I have ever seen her move it. Next up, we have Sherry.
You got this, Sherry. Quick feet. All right, one more. Go get it.
So I made the rule that the keg and the Husafel had to be standing upright on the other end of the runway, just because I didn't want anybody throwing it once they crossed that finish line. If you notice the Husafel, it's an open top, so one wrong move, weight goes flying out of it. Speaking of Husafel, I got a bone to pick with this Husafel right here, because right now there are hundreds of pounds worth of plates wedged in it. Literally, as soon as I get done with this video, I'm going back there with a sledgehammer to try to bang these weights out. But hey, that's my fault for making the weight tree to only carry 45s. I mean, not 45s, 25s. The weight tree. The weight matrix. I only accounted for 25s. I didn't want to pack 35s. Should have packed 35s. This wouldn't have happened. Next up, we have Mason.
Quick feet, Mason. Go get that kid.
And now he just has to go get that keg. Power slide. He almost thought about just taking it from there. But, reminded him the rules. Got to bring it back to where he picked it up, where he dropped it. I was really worried about his knees. Caught the tail end of Chris's. So, fun fact. Ooh. That looked like it hurt. So, fun fact, my first competition, I actually dropped a keg. And it rolled faster than I could run. So, yeah. That was fun. With the Husafel. Looking to see what their Husafel weight was in my notes.
One more.
Where is it?
Good pick.
So their Husafel was 200
One foot in
pounds.
front of the other.
As was their keg, as you can plainly see.
Almost there. Good job.
Caught about half of Andrew's run. There were just so many people competing that I couldn't get everybody. Also, nobody filmed the award ceremony for me. But, you know, that was my fault. I should have set up a tripod. And I will try to save some battery for next time. Next up, we have Jake. So they had a, looking for it, 260-pound sandbag on their lane. And their keg was 275 pounds. So right now, that's what the keg weighs, is 275 pounds. In the right-hand lane, men's novice lightweight open, or men's lightweight novice, we got Sam Dunnigan.
One more.
From Denham Springs, we want to try to get him to join Atlas. Think he's got a lot of potential. Just needs more time with the implements. The keg was brutal.
Every step counts.
I'm really glad I left the 280-pound keg at home because this keg was whooping people. Caught about half of Brandon's run.
Brandon. Good.
Moved very quickly. You know, one of these days I'm going to put a washing machine in a carry medley.
All right, Brandon. You just gotta finish.
Just because I think it would be funny. So this was not my favorite way to carry a keg. I think it takes too much time. It puts the keg too low, puts a lot of strain on your biceps. I think just tipping and grabbing is definitely the way to go for keg carry. Next up, we have Dylan. This is 260 sandbag, going to get 275 Husafel.
One foot in front of the other.
It's crazy. The Atlas crew, a lot of their goal was just to finish the medley.
All right, go get that keg. You got that.
A lot of them were worried about whether or not it was going to even be possible to finish the medley. And when I say these dudes pushed each other,
One foot in front
my
of the other.
God, did they push each other.
Keep it moving. Don't you drop it. Almost there.
Next up, we have Ryan.
Come on, Ryan. Run.
Running back to get the Husafel. Probably would have been able to move a little bit faster had he gotten higher on the chest, but here we are. And then going to get the keg. Don't really remember what technique Ryan used to carry the keg. See, I really believe this is the superior technique
Every step counts.
because you don't have to expend a lot of energy in your upper body to keep your arms bent,
You got 6 seconds.
and it stays a little bit higher on the body.
Up right, up right.
And then we have Matt.
Run with that shit.
I believe Matt was the fastest.
10 seconds.
Dude can move. But, you know, it helps when you're taking half as many steps as everybody else. He's like 6'12".
Quick feet, quick feet, quick feet.
So notice how much higher it is on his chest than it was on Ryan's. He has full use of his legs. He doesn't have to do any kind of waddle. He can just run.
One foot in front of the other. You got this. Make it hurt. Keep
You can
going,
see the
keep
pain
going.
on his face.
Up right, up right, up right.
And that was the fastest time of the day. I don't remember what it was, but it was just under 45 seconds.
Right there.
Jessica with the keg to shoulder. Chris cheering her on in the background. In training, she was only able to get this once, and she managed to get 2 reps out of this today. So I believe that's 4 PRs that she got today.
You are right there.
Just needs another little pop, and it's there. Good job, Jessica. Tries for one more.
Call it.
Next up, we have Sherry. Admittedly, I was worried about how this one was going to go.
Remember, get it into
Taking
the
a
hip.
lot of extra time in between reps because she's not doing what we did in training until then. It went a lot smoother for her.
Good.
Getting it into the hip.
Take a breather.
Just a lot easier to drive your weight into the implement when you can get good purchase.
One more. Get another. Get another. Come on, Sherry. Get it.
Next up, we have JB. So JB was the only one that we saw use this technique, and it worked well for him. So, funny story about the keg to shoulder event. I wanted to do a sandbag to shoulder because I thought it would be a much, not necessarily easier event for people to do, but a much more forgiving event for people to do.
More to win it.
Both Matt and Daryl suggested a keg to shoulder because they thought it would be really cool. Neither of them had any intention on signing up, but they both thought it would be really cool. And I didn't think anybody would like that event, so I decided to go to Instagram and I put it up for a vote. Just to show nobody would do a damn keg to shoulder event. And you know what happened? Keg to shoulder got twice as many votes as the sandbag to shoulder did. And a bunch of those dudes wound up regretting their decision about halfway through training for this because it was not a forgiving movement at all. I mean, it beats your shoulder up. It beats your ear up. But these guys did very, very well with this event. A lot more reps happened than I anticipated. It's crazy. Watching these dudes train, they don't get nearly as many reps in training, even with their competition weight, or especially with their even with training weight, not competition weight, as they do the day of. And I need to start accounting for that whenever I make my weight matrices. So this was one Grant really didn't get to train much because he was over at a Crunch Fitness. If you want to compete in strongman, you should train at a strongman gym, or at least a gym that has some implements. And we got Jake over in the background. Happened a couple times where we had Atlas athletes on both platforms. Did our best to make it happen. Mr. Preston on judging. We appreciate Mr. Preston around here. Next up, we have Mason. Oop. Just moved a little too quickly on that one. It's a technique I've never seen anyone use. But I guess because a lot of these guys train together, a lot of them adopted the same technique. Moving on over to Ryan. Putting a 240 keg to their shoulder. I think this is our second time doing a shouldering event. The very first Rougarou Classic, we did a stone to shoulder. Because there's not really anything cooler than a stone to shoulder event, in my opinion.
15 seconds. One more, Ryan. 10, 9, 8, 7. Down.
And that was it for Ryan. Competition is done. Was it Dylan that worried me watching him do it? Yep, it was. I thought he was going to trip every single rep. So glad it didn't happen. Because I might have cried. Yeah, it was almost like he left the keg in one spot and tried to rotate his body around it. Which, you know, is a technique. Yeah, Kyle got worried too. Again, if I haven't said it enough, big thanks to our volunteers, especially Daryl. Daryl was with me both days. He showed up here at 6 a.m., helped me load up a truck, drove that truck to New Orleans. We unloaded the truck. It was me, him, Alex, and Ryan. Then the next day, he showed up to Atlas again at 6 a.m. We hit the road. He was with me all damn day. On day 2, we drove back, unloaded everything. Like, Daryl did just as much for this competition as I did, if not more in some ways. And this competition would not have gone nearly as well without his help. I think he has time for one more. Oh, I guess not. And then the last Atlas athlete of the day, we had Ryan. Did I say Ryan? I meant Matt. Got too many tall dudes.
Don't rush that down.
So if y'all remember right, Matt did incredibly at Alabama Strongest on his load. So we knew he was going to do well with this event too. And he did not disappoint. Matt did very well. Really proud of how he did.
That's 3. Keep going. Keep going.
Got time for a couple more reps. So yeah, Louisiana Strongest is right around the corner. Looking forward to seeing how everybody does for that one as well. Y'all should have seen the celebration after this one is over. So that's it for the video. Like I said, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out immensely. Louisiana Strongest Man 2024's Louisiana Strongest Man is already out on Iron Podium. Go and check that right now. At the time of this recording, I released it last night. We already have 3 signups for it. So I am looking forward to seeing how this one is going to grow. This one is also going to be off-site. It's going to be at the River Center here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're going to be sharing a venue with, I know, Masters Weightlifting Nationals. What else? There's going to be USAPL meet, which we are also going to be in charge of that. So this is going to be the biggest event in Atlas's history. I am really excited to see how it goes. Not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous too, but that's neither here nor there. But until next time, keep that tight.